Hi, my name is Pascal. Today I'm gonna talk you through whether a home gym makes sense for you or not. Now, of course, everybody is different and we have different individual living circumstances. So I will walk you through 7 aspects of your life that you want to consider before making a final decision for a home gym like I did, because it is a considerable investment of time, of space, and also money to have a gym in your home rather than just renting one out in a commercial gym for $100 a month or $200 a month, or maybe even just $10 a month, depending on where you're living. So let's talk through these 7 different aspects. Take some notes while you're listening to me, and then I think in the end you will be a lot closer to whether you actually want to go for a home gym and whether it makes sense for you or not. So the first aspect to consider is your salary. So I will go around and segue the argument about just having kettlebells at home, because kettlebells can be gotten rather cheap. You're already in the game for $100. And to be honest, for most people, you're actually already getting everything you need to stay fit and to lose weight if you take care of your diet. So if I'm talking home gym, I'm really thinking about a power rack, I'm thinking about a bench, I'm thinking about plates, I'm thinking about everything that you would probably see and have in a commercial gym membership that can be gotten somewhere between $10 to $200 or 10 euros to 200 euros. So going for salary, the more salary you have, the more it makes sense for you to have a home gym. So let me walk you through the details of that. Let's assume you are earning about 10,000 a year before taxes. Let's just assume that for mathematical purposes, right? Rather than, or you take home pay as 10 grand a year, right? If your take home pay is 10 grand a year, a good home gym setup, a reasonable one, will put you back about 2,500 out of that. So that is 25%. If you then think about all of the other things you need to maintain life, food, heat, maybe a bit of pleasure, depending on whatever you define as pleasure, eating out, drinking, taking your mates out to do some paintball, whatever it may be. 25% apart from rent and everything else that goes out of your salary is a huge commitment, and therefore basically you just can't afford it. You will really have to save a long time to be able to buy even a home gym. Now it also has other economical impacts, because of course the smaller your salary are, the more likely it is that you live in a smaller space, and the one thing you need to put a gym in your home is leftover space that you don't need to cook, to sleep, or to store food in. So again, the lower your salary, the less likely it makes sense that you get your own home gym. Now, if we go through all of that with 100,000 euros take-home pay, then the picture starts to shift, right? Then you are only talking 2.5% of your yearly salary. So you don't have to forfeit vacation. You don't have to forfeit the school fees for your children. You don't have to forfeit the basics of life, and you still are more likely to live in a bigger house with a garage at the side or with a basement in it where you can actually put the home gym. So you see, with more salary, a home gym makes more sense to you. Now, if we go even one step further and we say you have $1 million net pay take home, then the whole aspect of how much does this gym actually cost and where do I put it evaporates. Now, what then becomes more important to you most likely is time, because the only commodity you can't buy back in life is time. And the more money you have, the more you will realize that, because also the less hard you have to work to get more money. Now, I don't go into all of the nitty-gritty economics of it. If you want a good book on it, start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Excellent book. And then maybe The Intelligent Investor, and you start to understand what I'm talking about if you don't already do. So bottom line on salary, the more money you have, the more it makes sense that you will have a home gym because you can place it somewhere and it becomes a less impactful part on the overall pie of your income. And also the more money you have, the more important time will become to you. So you don't want to commute to a gym or maybe even spend time around other people that are not as rich as you. Next aspect to consider is distance to the next gym. So the further you are away from the next gym, the more it makes sense that you will get your own home gym. So let's say you live in a rural area, there's not a lot of people, you have to drive to the next village to go to the gym. That is maybe 40 minutes one-way drive. And also there's only one gym in the village because, there's just not enough people to go around to make it economically feasible to have a gym. Apart from that, of course, in a rural area, most likely people are not that interested in going to the gym because they already labor all day with their hands anyway. Huge assumption of my part, but I think you get the picture. Well, if you're in that kind of setting, then it makes more sense for you to place the gym in your own home. Another factor to that is also the space that you actually put it in. The more rural the area is, the cheaper the land that you put the gym on actually becomes. Whereas in an urban area where you stack people on top of each other and you have multiple gyms within 500 meters walking distance because there's just so much foot traffic and also so many people in the vicinities that it becomes economically feasible to have multiple gyms within a short range, then it becomes less likely that it will make sense for you to have your own home gym. Also what plays into that, if you go, let's say, somewhere near Central Park and the apartment already costs 20 million and then you put a gym in it, well, just the floor space where the gym is in is already more expensive than some people might make in their entire life. So this is the consideration to make when you are thinking about the home gym making sense for you or not. What is the distance that I have to travel to get to the next gym? And if that already takes out more time than I'm actually spending in the gym, then it probably makes a lot of sense to put the gym right into your home, depending on how much space you've got. Next thing to consider is the frequency of your training. So how often do you actually currently go into the gym? 2 times a day, 3 times a week, 1 time a month? It does make sense that the more often you actually hit the gym already, the more likely it will become that it makes sense that you put it into your own home. Because all of the other factors also depend on it, travel time, getting ready, getting out, having a shower, that just multiplies by the times that you actually go to the gym. So if you can take all of that, getting ready time, getting in and out, waiting time, if you take that all out, then you will actually save a lot of time by having a home gym, especially if you're training 2 times a day, which is of course on the more extreme end of things. Now on the other hand, if you only train once a month, well, fair enough, then why get a gym for 2,500 or 1,000 into your own home? That is just a waste of space and also a waste of money. Then you might as well go get the cheapest possible commercial gym subscription that you can get and then go once a month, which basically translates into whenever you step in there, it costs you the monthly fee that you're paying. So let's say 20 or 100 or whatever it is. So keep your frequency of training in mind when you're still on the fence about should I go to a home gym or not. Closely related to the frequency of training is the intensity of your training. So let's say you train 3 times a week, but you do train like Andy Bolton. So Andy Bolton was the first person to ever break the 1,000 pound deadlift mark. If you are throwing about 900 pounds plus in a commercial gym, they'll most likely ban you, because to do that without making a lot of noise, fairly impossible to do that without taking a lot of plates from different racks, and then other people can't exercise and have to wait around and start complaining about you. Fairly likely. Same goes for if you like high intensity interval training, and you grunt like a pig, and you just love going all balls out or all T out, in your workout. Well, if it's really, really intense, most likely people in a commercial gym will start to complain about you. The more complaints the owner of the gym gets, the more unpleasant it will be for you to stay there, because then the instructors will walk up to you, eyeball you, tell you to do things differently, which actually led me to start to consider a home gym, because that just annoyed the heck out of me. Anyway, rant over. So take a look at the intensity of your training and how you feel in a kind of public setting. And if it is really, really intense, you can probably make a case for that it is more likely that it makes sense for you to have your home gym right in your basement or in your garage or in your garden or wherever you may want to put it. So we've talked about salary, we've talked about frequency of training, we talked about intensity of training. So let's go to the next factor. Another factor to consider on whether you get a home gym or not is health and security. And I think the current pandemic has it made very, very clear that can be a factor that actually plays into things, because if you're concerned about your health and if you have a very low immune system, then you probably would like a more controlled environment to train in so that you won't catch any kinds of diseases. Of course, the most prominent version of that at the moment is COVID-19, but there are also so many other factors that could play into it depending on your individual circumstances and what kind of a health record you have. So, the more likely you are to catch some kind of disease of someone else, and the more controlled you want the environment to be that you're training in, the more it will make sense that you actually get a home gym. Now, the same thinking applies for security. It's just a bit of a different angle than health. So security, if you have reason to believe that people will attack you, or that people want to rob you, or because you're famous, they just won't get out of your face while you're training. There's several aspects to that. Also could just be the ex-boyfriend that will just run through all of the different gyms to stalk you, whatever the situation is. If there is such a security aspect to your life, then it also will make more sense to move the gym into the home rather than going into a semi-public space to train. Another aspect to think about is your self-drive versus needing a coach. So if you are a person who is an autodidact, who likes to learn things by themselves, and doesn't really need a coach, then a home gym is probably more suitable for you than getting a subscription in a commercial gym. The advantage of a subscription in a commercial gym is that you will get access to personal trainers at a lower rate, because there are just more people that they can pander to and make a living from. So it is more likely that you will get a very, very good coach for less money if you are, or a comparable coach for less money when you sign up to their services within the setting of a commercial gym, because there you're just one of many. If you want a good coach for yourself at home, then you also have to factor in, or if you need one because you lack the self-motivation, but then of course I'd also would question why you're getting a home gym in the first place. But anyway, if you're getting a coach to come to your home to do everything for you, that will come at considerable more cost, because they have to come to your home, they have to travel there, they also have to factor in that they can't do a group at the same time. So the rate per hour will definitely be a lot higher than just walking into a group session somewhere in the commercial gym in London or New York Central. So also keep that in mind as an aspect of whether a home gym makes sense to you or not. Yes, of course, also the resources on YouTube and subscriptions and, you know, all of the kind of remote kind of training that was already coming and was just catalyzed by the pandemic. That is also all around there. But if you really need someone to breathe down your neck and scream at you right away, then, or use other types of encouragement to get you to do what you not would do by yourself, then it is easier and cheaper to get access to that in a commercial gym rather than a home gym. Last component to consider is the social component. So there are people out there who want to go to the gym to meet some people, to meet friends, to make plans for the weekend while they're exercising. Some even might go to Gold's Gym or, you know, some kind of ragtag boxing gym somewhere in Dublin or in London to, you know, mix with the right crowd and then even get job opportunities out of that. Who knows? You know, I'm not one of these people, so I can't really talk to that. But there is an element of that, you know, that you hang out in a certain area, and if you hang out there long enough and talk to enough people, you might even get a job opportunity out of that if you're not there for the social aspect. And that all kind of falls to the wayside when you're having a home gym. Now, personally, I run a YouTube channel. I work from home in IT sales. So, you know, and also with socializing, I have a few very, very good friends, but I don't need and don't have time for things that I deem superficial. Now, of course, it is also, you know, maybe unfair to a lot of people that I then don't get to know. But anyway, that is why a home gym just works for me. It doesn't necessarily have to work for you, but also think about your current arrangements and what you like about them. And if the social aspect of it takes a huge chunk out of that, then a home gym might probably not the way to go. So to summarize all of these 7 factors, if you're a rich recluse who lives in the middle of Texas and has a ton of land, hates people and is an autodidact, well, then get your own home gym. If you are living in an urban area, you are a student, you don't have any money, and you can't seem to fit in 3 sessions a week because you're just too busy with partying and with socializing, then probably a gym subscription to a commercial gym is better than bending yourself over backwards to get a rack into your apartment, especially if you're only training once a month. Now, of course, this is really polarizing to make a point here, but if you are on the fence about getting a home gym, run through these 7 factors that I've just explained. Place yourself on the spectrum somewhere on these extremes, or somewhere in the middle, and then you will be closer to a more structured approach to decide whether you actually want to go for a home gym or not. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel. Have a very nice day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.